Hi, I'm Layla. Today, I'm going to tell you my story. But before I continue, please share, and subscribe to hear more stories like this. Have you ever wanted something so badly you could taste it? That's how I felt about the Victorian house on Maple Street. Ever since I was a little girl riding my bike past those grand porches and bay windows, I knew that house would be mine someday. My ex-husband Marcus never understood that dream. That old money pit, he'd say. You're crazy, Layla. We can't afford that. And even if we could, the maintenance would bankrupt us. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where it all began. 6 years ago, I married Marcus Wilson. We met at the bank where I worked as a financial advisor. He was charming, ambitious, and seemed to share my dreams of building a beautiful life together. His family, particularly his mother Diane, welcomed me with what I thought was open arms. "You're exactly what my son needs," Diane told me over dinner one night. "Someone practical to balance him out." My friend Jess warned me. She pulled me aside at our engagement party. "There's something about him that doesn't add up, Layla," she said. "The way he talks about your money like it's already his." I laughed it off. "You're being paranoid. Marcus respects my independence." "Just keep your eyes open," Jess insisted. "And maybe keep a separate account." I wish I'd listened. 3 years into our marriage, I discovered Marcus had been systematically undermining my dream of buying the Victorian house, while secretly funneling my savings into his personal investments. It happened on a Tuesday. I was working late at the bank when my coworker Tyler stopped by my desk. "Hey, Layla, didn't you mention your husband was starting a business?" he asked. I looked up from my computer. "Yeah, why?" "Well, I just processed a business loan for him and noticed something weird. The collateral listed includes property in your name that you didn't co-sign for." My stomach dropped. "What property?" "Your grandmother's inheritance? The one you've been saving?" That night, I confronted Marcus in our kitchen. "What did you do with my inheritance money?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He barely looked up from his phone. "I invested it. We talked about this." "No, we didn't. That money was for the Victorian house. You know that." Marcus finally looked at me, annoyed. "That house is a fantasy, Layla. I put the money somewhere it could actually grow." "Without asking me?" "That's my money, Marcus." "Our money," he corrected. "And I made an executive decision as the financial planner in this relationship. I'm literally a financial advisor." "For other people?" he said dismissively. "Look, I've got this under control. The business will take off, and we'll have enough for 10 Victorian houses if you want." I didn't believe him. The next day, I checked our accounts and found them nearly empty. When I called his mother to ask if she knew anything, Diane's response chilled me. "Oh, honey," she said with fake sympathy. "Marcus always said you were terrible with money. He's been protecting your joint finances for years. Maybe you should focus on being a better wife instead of questioning his decisions." I hung up and called Jess immediately. "You were right," I said when she answered. "He's been stealing from me." "Come stay with me," she offered without hesitation. "We'll figure this out." Over the next few months, I discovered the extent of Marcus's betrayal. Not only had he taken my inheritance, but he'd also been having an affair with his business partner Rachel, and they were planning to use my money to buy a house together. Not just any house, but my Victorian dream house that had just come on the market. I learned this from my neighbor, Mrs. Chen, who lived next door to the Victorian. "Aren't you excited?" she asked when we bumped into each other at the grocery store. "Your husband was just there yesterday with that red-haired woman measuring for furniture." My blood boiled. "He was what?" "Oh my!" Mrs. Chen's eyes widened. "I assumed you knew. They told the real estate agent they were buying it as a surprise for someone." That night, I made a decision. I wouldn't confront Marcus yet. Instead, I called my old college friend Nathan, who worked in real estate. "I need your help," I told him. "I want to buy a house, but no one can know, especially not my husband." "This sounds serious," Nathan said. "Are you in trouble?" "Not yet, but I will be if I don't act fast." I explained the situation, and Nathan agreed to help. "The owners are motivated sellers," he told me after making some calls. "They've had an offer, but nothing final. If you can move quickly and offer cash, we might beat them to it. I had an ace up my sleeve. A separate investment account my grandmother had specifically set up that Marcus didn't know about. It wasn't enough for the whole house, but Nathan helped me secure a private loan for the rest. 3 weeks later, I sat in Nathan's office, signing papers. "Congratulations," he said, sliding the keys across the table. "The Victorian is yours." I felt a surge of vindication. Has anyone told Marcus and Rachel their offer was rejected? The selling agent called them yesterday. Apparently they were furious. I smiled. Good. That same day I filed for divorce. I moved into Jess's spare room temporarily while I planned my next move. I didn't tell anyone about the house except Jess and Nathan, who helped me set up security cameras connected to my phone. "Just to be safe," Nathan said. "Angry exes can be unpredictable." "Do you think he might try something?" I asked, suddenly nervous. "Better safe than sorry," Nathan replied. "Marcus strikes me as the type who doesn't like losing." "You've got that right," I said. "His entire family believes they're entitled to whatever they want." A week later, I was at work when I got a call from Mrs. Chen. "Layla, dear, there's something you should know," she said, her voice urgent. "I just saw strangers going into your new house, a man and a woman. They had keys." My heart raced. "Are you sure?" "Positive. The man was tall with dark hair. Your husband, I think, and that same red-haired woman." "I'll handle it," I said, trying to sound calmer than I felt. "Thank you for telling me." I immediately opened the security camera app on my phone. What I saw made me freeze. Marcus and Rachel were inside my house, walking from room to room like they owned the place. Marcus was gesturing at walls, probably planning renovations, while Rachel measured windows. They looked so entitled, so smug. But that wasn't what made my blood run cold. Following behind them was Diane, Marcus's mother, and she was carrying paint swatches and fabric samples. They were planning to redecorate my house without knowing I owned it. "Look at this place," I heard Marcus say through the camera's microphone. "Can you believe we got it for such a steal?" Rachel laughed. "All thanks to your wife's inheritance." "Ex-wife soon," Marcus corrected. "And she still has no idea." "The look on her face when she finds out we're living in her precious Victorian will be priceless," Diane added. "Maybe we'll invite her to the housewarming." They all laughed, and I felt sick. But then something changed in me. This wasn't just about the money anymore. This was about my dignity, my dreams, and justice. I called Nathan immediately. "They're in my house," I said. "With keys." "That's impossible," Nathan replied. "Unless the old owners must have given them the spare set by mistake. I'll call the police." "No," I said, an idea forming. "Not yet. I have a better plan." I called in reinforcements, Jess, Tyler from the bank, and my cousin Mike, who works in construction. I explained what was happening and what I wanted to do. "You're sure about this?" Jess asked. "It's a bit extreme." "I'm done being nice," I replied. "They've taken enough from me." "Count me in," Tyler said firmly. "What he did at the bank was illegal. He deserves whatever's coming." "Mike, how fast can you change the locks?" I asked. "Give me an hour with the right equipment," he replied. "And I'll make sure those old keys won't work anywhere." "Perfect," I said. "Let's give them a surprise they'll never forget." The next day, while Marcus, Rachel, and Diane were at work, we went to the Victorian. Mike changed all the locks while Tyler helped me gather evidence of Marcus's financial misconduct from our shared computer files. Jess and I prepared the house for what I was calling Operation Homecoming. "You know," Jess said as we arranged furniture in the living room, "I've never seen you this determined before. It suits you." "I should have stood up for myself years ago," I replied. "No more letting people walk all over me." That evening, I texted Marcus. "We need to talk about the house. Meet me at the Victorian at 7. Bring your mom and Rachel if you want. It concerns them too." His reply was immediate. "How did you know?" "A little bird told me," I wrote back. "See you at 7. At 6:30, we were all in position. Tyler was parked down the street with copies of all the financial documents showing Marcus's fraud. Mike was in the backyard by the garden shed. Jess was upstairs with her laptop. And I was in the living room, sitting in a beautiful antique chair I'd bought specifically for this moment. At 7:05, a car pulled up. I watched through the window as Marcus, Rachel, and Diane approached the front door. Marcus tried his key. It didn't work. He tried again. "What the hell?" I heard him say. He knocked loudly. I took a deep breath and opened the door. "Welcome," I said with a smile. "Please come in." Their faces were priceless. Marcus recovered first. "Layla, what are you doing here? How did you get in?" "I live here," I replied calmly. "This is my house." Rachel laughed nervously. "That's not possible. We bought this house." "Actually," I said, pulling out the deed, "I bought this house 3 weeks ago. Cash offer." "You're lying," Diane snapped. "You don't have that kind of money." "Not anymore, thanks to your son," I agreed. "But my grandmother was smarter than all of us. She left me 2 inheritances, the one Marcus stole, and another one he didn't know about." Marcus's face turned white. "You can't prove I took anything." "Oh, but I can," I said, nodding toward the dining room where Tyler emerged with a stack of documents. "Financial records," Tyler explained, "showing unauthorized transfers from Layla's accounts to yours, along with loan applications using her inheritance as collateral without her signature." "That's forgery and fraud," I added. "Felony charges." Marcus stepped toward me, his face contorted with rage. "You little—" Before he could finish, Mike appeared from the kitchen. At 6'4" and built like a linebacker, his presence alone made Marcus step back. "Everything okay in here?" Mike asked. "Just fine," I said. "My ex was just leaving." "I'm not going anywhere," Marcus growled. "This is our house." "Actually," came Jess's voice as she descended the stairs with her laptop, "I've been recording this whole conversation, including your mother's comments about using Layla's inheritance and your recent admission that you thought you bought this house with stolen money." "You can't record us without permission," Diane protested. "In this state, I can," Jess replied. "Single-party consent." I turned back to Marcus. "So here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign these divorce papers Tyler prepared, agreeing to my terms. You're going to return every penny you took from me, with interest. And you're never going to come near me or my house again." "Or what?" Rachel challenged. "Or these documents go to the police," Tyler said, "along with the video evidence." "And to your employer," I added. "And your clients. And your precious country club. I wonder how your business partner will feel knowing you planned to use stolen money for your investment property." Marcus looked like he might explode. "You wouldn't dare." "Try me," I said, my voice steady. "You took my money, my trust, and tried to steal my dream. But you made one crucial mistake." "What's that?" he spat. "You underestimated me." For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Marcus lunged forward, grabbing my arm. "You think you're so clever." Mike was there in an instant, removing Marcus's hand from me. "That's assault, buddy. Want to add it to the list?" "Marcus, stop," Rachel said, finally looking worried. "This isn't worth going to jail over." Diane stepped forward. "Layla, surely we can work something out. Marcus made mistakes, but—" "Save it," I interrupted. "I'm not interested in your manipulations anymore. Sign the papers, return my money, and get out of my house." Marcus looked from me to Tyler to Mike, calculating his options. Finally, his shoulders slumped. "Fine," he muttered. "Give me the damn papers." As he signed, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. When he finished, he looked up at me with hatred in his eyes. "You'll regret this," he threatened. "No," I said, taking the papers. "I won't." After they left, my friends stayed to celebrate. We drank champagne in my new kitchen while I shared my plans for renovating the Victorian to its former glory. "To Layla," Jess toasted, raising her glass, "who finally got her dream house and her freedom in one fell swoop." "And to Karma," Tyler added, "coming back to bite exactly who deserved it." I couldn't have done it without you guys, I said, feeling emotional. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. So what's next? Mike asked, looking around at the house. This place needs some serious TLC. First, new paint, I said. Something completely different from what Diane was planning. We all laughed at that, the sound echoing through the high ceilings of my beautiful new home. The aftermath was sweeter than I expected. Marcus's business collapsed when his partner discovered his financial misconduct. Rachel left him when the money dried up. Diane had to sell her house to help Marcus pay his legal fees after the bank launched an investigation into his loan applications. As for me, I'm thriving. The Victorian is everything I dreamed it would be. Sometimes I sit on my front porch and wave to Mrs. Chen across the street. She keeps me updated on neighborhood gossip, including the rumor that Marcus is working at a car wash in the next town over. Last week, I got a letter from Marcus. An apology, if you can believe it. He wrote that he was sorry, that he'd made terrible mistakes, that he missed me. I didn't even finish reading it. I tore it up and used the pieces to start a fire in my beautiful new fireplace. Some betrayals can't be forgiven. Some dreams are worth fighting for. And some victories taste sweeter when you win them all on your own. So tell me, what dream have you been putting off because someone told you it wasn't possible? And what are you going to do today to make it happen anyway?